All right, we back. Roy Boyz Standard, joined by Chris Roy. I am Will Roy, and happy Easter. Today is Easter. We just did a review of The Rock's Terramana Tequila right before we did this podcast. That was strictly for YouTube. This is actually for our podcast.
So make sure you go check out the YouTube channel and see what we thought.
Yeah, so we review The Rock's Terramana Tequila, which you can't get in Michigan yet. You got to order it online, but it's good. It's really good.
No, but in spirit of just keeping things light today, it's Easter, it's the holiday. We're gonna and we're still on quarantine. Hopefully only for like 2.5 more weeks, or quarantine or lockdown, whatever you want to call it. We thought it'd be good time to do a top 10 list. And we're going to do our top 10 favorite movies of all time. So, we'll give you a quick little synopsis. If you hear something that tickles your fancy that you haven't seen yet, you got 2.5 weeks to check it out.
Yeah, so, and we're big movie buffs. We've watched a lot of movies. You're a comedy guy. I'm an action guy. So you might get a little bit of...
What?
You watch action, but you like watching a lot of freaking comedies.
Yeah, man. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm a comedy guy. I mean, I've watched all the action movies you've watched.
Yeah, but make it funny, guy.
Like, just because I watch comedies as well. I mean, obviously, you got to keep in mind, a lot of when I'm watching movies on my time, it's with Sarah, and Sarah's not always wanting to watch shoot 'em up all the time. So yeah, we watch comedies. And I like to keep things lighthearted too. Life's super serious.
In her place.
What?
You put her in her place. She's shouting distance. You tell her I said so.
No, I mean, hey, it's good. It's good to keep things light. It's the exact same reason we're doing this right now. So.
Yep.
The way we're gonna do this, like William said, we're huge movie guys. Like. I love movies, love watching movies.
We grew up. That's where our bond was made, really.
Oh yeah,
Large portion of our bond when you were younger, because I was not a partier, because that was right when I got into health and fitness. So I didn't hang out with friends and party. I came home, ate good, worked out, hung out with you.
Yeah, and so we watched a lot of movies. William was, if you heard in previous podcasts of why he started lifting, he was fat. He was a big fat loser, and didn't have any friends, didn't have any girlfriends, so we just watched movies all the time.
I mean, I had friends, I just didn't have any girlfriends.
No.
I had a lot of girls that were friends, which is the problem with fat people.
No,
but to be honest, like when you're a fat guy, you got all the hot chicks are friends with you, but you're like in the back of your head, you're just like, damn, I just want to hook up with all of you, and I got no chance.
Yeah. No, but yeah, we watched a lot of movies. So we are definitely more equipped to kind of review and list these movies than we are tequila, that's for sure. But hey, we're just doing it all tonight. So the way we're gonna do this, I had to kind of rush into this. I was expecting more time to prepare, but my wife kind of had like a migraine attack, so I kind of had to tend to her, and then I had to throw my stuff together in like 5 minutes before we started doing this stuff. But I actually think I couldn't overanalyze things, so I actually think it actually benefited me. So I think I wrote down like the first 15 or 16 movies that came to my head, and then put them in order. So basically what we're going to do, we're both going to kind of go over our honorable mentions, the ones that didn't crack the top 10 but are still phenomenal, and then we're going to go down our list from 10 down to 1 in order of our top 10 favorite movies of all time. And I have a sneaking suspicion that we might have quite a few similar ones on there, but
yeah, and there's no question we probably forgot ones that if we have some time in a week or two, we'd probably replace at least a few of these.
Oh yeah, and yeah, for sure. So so you want me to start off with my honorable mentions?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so my honorable mentions. These aren't in order. These are just ones that I wrote down that didn't crack the list. I have Inception.
Ooh.
Inception, probably one of the most creative movies I've ever seen in my life. And I'm a huge DiCaprio fan. But literally, just from a creative standpoint, like the people who came up with that story are insanely smart. But just awesome. Scarface. Scarface on there.
Honorable mention for me.
Fight Club.
What? That's in my top 10. That is in my top 10.
Fight Club. Gladiator.
I didn't put that one down, but yeah, that's a good movie.
And I'll be the only person probably in the world that has this even remotely close to a list like this, and that's The Incredible Hulk.
It's a good movie.
I love that movie, dude. Nobody else liked it. I love
That's
that.
crap. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you as a person. If you're into comic book movies and you don't like The Incredible Hulk, like then
I'm talking about
you're not into comic book movies.
yeah, and we're talking about the good one, not the one with Eric Bana. Like The
Yeah, we're
Incredible.
talking about the one with Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Where he fights the Abomination.
Awesome movie. Like if you're a Hulk fan, like they nailed that. That was phenomenal.
Dude, that was a damn good movie.
Just the end fight scene alone, the build up and everything is worth the whole thing. Like it was awesome.
They crushed it.
It was phenomenal. But so to round off my honorable mentions, because if you have your honorable mentions, then you have your top 10 list. And because we had to narrow it down to top 10, I have like you know how I like to kind of straddle that line of breaking the rules with these things. I have like a 10B.
Jesus.
Wolf of Wall Street. Freaking love that movie, but for the life of me, just couldn't take out any of my top 10 to put it in there. So I wanted to really just put that one stand up by itself before we kind of crack into these top. Wolf of Wall Street is extremely entertaining, and once again, DiCaprio, he's the man.
Yeah. So, all right, should I get my honorables then?
Yep.
So my honorables, kind of there's gonna be some surprises I think on here. So Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I love Tarantino. I love Tarantino.
Tarantino. Rarely though.
Avatar.
See, you freaking love that movie, dude. Like, I mean, I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good. Like
that movie makes me wish that movie, like, maybe it's not a good thing, but like you look outside at our world and you look at Avatar's world and you cannot be depressed. like
I mean, I guess I'm not that like cynical. I don't know. That never happened to me. Like people were committing suicide because
that's a bit extreme, Abby.
That's legit. That's legit though. That really happened.
That's a movie I just forgot on here. Holy shit. Snitch, man. Snatch. That's a great movie. So that was on here. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. I got on here. Love that movie.
So real quick, just some of my criteria for my top 10 was like the rewatchability of the movie. And like that's Scarface didn't crack my top 10. Like 3-hour movies, man, they're tough to get through. Like Wolf of Wall Street's up there. That's almost 3 hours too, but that one's just so good. It doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie.
That was one of my main criteria for this is movies that I can just keep rewatching and it doesn't get old.
Yeah, rewatchability is big for like the all-time list. So that's ultimately why Scarface didn't make my top 10 just because, I mean, it's an awesome movie, but it's long. And you know, like Lord of the Rings, same thing. Like those movies are sweet, but man, it's just like Sarah's been wanting to watch them for like a year. And like I just get anxiety every time we think about doing it because I don't want to commit to sitting down for 3 hours.
That's a long time. And then my other one on here, Pearl Harbor. I think that is an underrated movie.
It's very good.
That is a damn good movie.
I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan. Like a lot of people like to hate on Affleck, but like, dude, Ben's legit, man. I like Ben.
I'm a big Affleck fan.
Phenomenal act. Armageddon, dude. Like the end of Armageddon, that's probably some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life.
I cried so hard in my life. I had to relay that information the other day that movie made me cry like a freaking baby. And I'm not talking tears. I was hyperventilating.
I mean, I don't know
I
if
was,
I'm related,
I
but like
was, I was, I was doing one of those, man.
no, it's great, and like that's all him, dude. That's all him at the end of that movie, dude. Like that, like was a really good performance, and dude, I've seen that movie probably like 5 times, cried every single time.
Yeah.
I could walk into a room and like that scene could just be starting, and I don't even need to watch the whole movie. It'll still probably get me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't deny. So yeah, that was my honorable mention.
All right, cool. So let's dive into this top 10. This is gonna be tough. So and I'll start because I already know you're gonna give me a load of crap for this first one.
Oh boy.
But number 10 for me is The Dark Knight.
I mean, wow, number 10, huh? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that you were gonna give me crap because I had it that low, but hopefully when you see the rest of it, I mean, honestly, I was this close to putting Wolf of Wall Street over it, but Heath Ledger's performance has to be that puts it in top 10 alone.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I don't even have it in my top 10.
Wow, would you forget it?
No, I didn't forget about it. It's because I'm a Bane guy, man. You know Bane's my favorite. So I couldn't even as the greatest performance of all time, I will admit that Heath Ledger's Joker is the greatest performance of all time in my opinion. Even saying that, huh?
Just acting, period. Not even
Yeah.
like superhero or anything.
Yeah, no, I 100%. Yeah, I'm Bane, man. I'm Bane. I'm a Bane guy all the way. So that's why I didn't want to put Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises on my list, even though it probably should be. That's the only reason why.
You got The Dark Knight Rises on your list, but you don't have The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
That's trash. That's trash. Whatever. It's your top 10 though.
I like Bane, man.
Your
All right.
yes.
So all right, that was yours.
Yeah, what was 10 for you?
So my number 10 is kind of a shocker, but it's because of the impact it had on me at the time.
Oh boy.
X2. X-Men 2.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, Hugh Jackman, that was like right in the time when I was really getting into it. And dude, Hugh Jackman was like, that's when he came in really good shape. And like that was kind of like impacted me to like really want to work out harder. And
I will say this though, Hugh Jackman, he paved the way for like actors getting their shit together to get in shape for movie roles.
oh yeah.
Especially when it comes to the superhero stuff, man. He was like the trailblazer with that.
Oh, 100, yeah. Dude, without a doubt. You look at him in X-Men, which clearly he was not ready for. And then you look at what he did and the rest of his movies.
Totally embraced it.
Dude, he set the precedent. And like mad respect because nothing pisses me off more than watching a guy try to play a superhero that doesn't look like a superhero. Talking to you, Shazam. What the hell's his name?
Hey, it's Zach Levy.
I like Zach Levy, but dude,
I love Zach Levy. All right. And he worked out and he trained and he did put some size on and stuff, but like I do not put that on Zach Levy. Okay. Like that that whole movie was designed for a different crowd.
yeah, I mean, I'll give you that. It's a kid's movie.
Like you look at like, yeah, that was just the whole tone of that movie was completely different. Like you have Zack Snyder directing all these DC movies, who's like a very dark and gritty type of director, and then you have like this kind of popcorny, colorful flick for Shazam. Like they went in a totally different direction. And I think for what they were trying to do, I think Levy did it perfectly. Like for little kids ain't paying attention to that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, more importantly, you should be pointing your finger at Robert Pattinson right now. I saw an article saying that he's having trouble putting size on right now.
They need to get him on some steroids because if he comes in playing Batman looking like a twerp, looking like Edward Cullen, then that movie's going to be straight trash.
Yeah, I offered my services for free to train him, but hey, you know, it is what it is.
Number 9.
You go.
All right, my number 9. And you might give me shit for this. I got The Lion King, bro.
Oh my God.
Dude, I watched that movie 7 times
Terrible.
in a row when I was a kid.
Honestly, your list is really underwhelming so far.
The Lion King is phenomenal. And I'm talking the cartoon, not the remake. I'm not a big fan of the movie version.
My number 9, and I have a suspicion that this will probably be higher up on yours. Bad Boys 2.
Damn, dude, I forgot all about
Oh
Bad
my gosh, dude!
I told you this is what happens when we rush shit. I told you I was gonna forget a big one.
I told you over an hour ago that this is what we were gonna do, and
Oh my God.
you didn't have Bad Boys 2.
How the hell? I got a bump one now, man. I mean, full disclosure, Bad Boys 2 should 100% be on my list, and it would probably be, if I got a bump, it's probably going to be in my top 5, but I'm not going to change it now for the purpose of this. So,
if you want to talk about probably like out of all in my entire life, I cannot name a more action-packed movie. Mr. Action Guy over here, ladies and gentlemen, didn't even have it on his list. Not to mention, it's the intro to our freaking podcast. This freaking dude.
Pretty much a lot of our lives, because we've been called the Roy Boys for the most of our lives. Bad Boys, Roy Boys, like that's kind of the thing. It's been our thing for a long time.
And we just love the movie. Like the movie.
I love Will Smith.
Yeah, the movie, we love the movie. So, yeah, all right. So, way to drop the ball on that one.
Damn.
Number 8, John Wick.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I went with the first one.
This is the best
Just
one.
because honestly, like, I think I might give the slight edge to John Wick 2, liking John Wick 2 a little bit more. But it's so minuscule that I just gave it to the original, just because it was the one that paved the way.
I think the original is the best one, personally.
Yeah. I think in order it would go 2, 1, 3. And three was awesome, but it was just, it's hard. It's hard, man. With sequels, man, it's hard to keep topping yourself, especially something as monumentally different like something like John Wick was. Like that was when that first one came out, dude, there was no movie like that, like a storyline like that, like gun scenes, fight scenes. There's nothing like that ever done before. So that first one was it was an introduction to something completely new, and it was awesome.
Keanu's a G.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is the whole folklore behind the character of John Wick and how he came to be, and how Keanu is like legitimately John Wick in real life, which is even cooler. So yeah, that's my number 8.
So my number 8, I'm thinking you probably won't have this one on your list, even though it's surprising. Number 8, I got Man of Steel.
Yeah, I got that on my list.
Why
is that surprising?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think you'd have that on your list. I got Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, man. I mean, that's another movie that I don't get. Like, that's like The Incredible Hulk. How do people not love that movie? I thought they nailed that movie.
Who doesn't like that? I never heard anybody not liking
it. It didn't do that great in theaters. Like, hence why you think if it did that great, there'd be a Man of Steel 2. I think
part of the reason that Man of Steel doesn't have a good backing is A, all the DC stuff that followed it just bombed hardcore, and B, right out the gate, like, people were mad because they changed the Superman symbol. They were mad that they changed the suit and he wasn't wearing like his underwear trunks on the outside of it and all that stuff. Like,
I feel like I think the rush of Batman versus Superman is what killed Man of Steel 2. I think they rushed that film.
No, I will die on this hill. The fact DC, if anybody out there is listening to this, if anybody knows anybody that works at DC, send them this soundbite right now. DC Comics, DC Cinema, DC whatever, whoever's in charge of making these movies, you guys completely effed up so hardcore. Marvel dominated the cinemas for 10 years, okay? They did it the right way. They took each hero, they gave them their own movies, they gave them their own backstories. They did it with Iron Man, they did it with the Hulk, they did it with Thor, they did it with Captain America. They gave everybody their own movie. And then they brought them together for the first Avengers movie, and they took 10 years to lay this groundwork and tell this story. You idiots tried to rush it hardcore. You gave Man of Steel his own movie, or Man of Steel. You gave Superman his own movie, and then let's just throw in a new Batman, and then let's just do the Justice League. We'll do a scene after the credits to introduce Aquaman, to introduce the Flash, to introduce Wonder Woman. Like Marvel's done. Marvel was done. They told their story. You guys could have done the same thing for the next 10 years.
And they would have dominated. Because all the Marvel's B guys, nobody cares about Marvel's B players.
Yeah. Nobody's going to rush to the theaters to see Black Widow. Like, hey, I love Scarlett Johansson, and like she's super hot, and I loved her in the Avengers and all that stuff. Like, but she's not going to draw at the box office.
And like Marvel's smart enough to know that. That's why Hawkeye, Vision, they got TV shows on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But
like Black Panther pulls big number, but he's not going to. He couldn't compete with Superman or Batman getting their own movie.
No,
like
he smashed. You put Superman or Batman against Black Panther in the theater, he's going to get crushed.
Yeah. Like
anyway, we got long-winded.
Hey, I am super passionate about that.
Yeah. Because I'm pissed that Henry Cavill might never play Superman again. That pisses me off.
Yeah, because he is phenomenal. Henry, you are Superman forever to me, my man.
Yeah, and he's jacked. That's what a superhero does.
He did it the right way.
Yeah. So anyway, my number 7. I have a feeling this will be higher on your list. Rocky 4.
I don't have any Rockies on my list.
Get out of town.
Yeah, totally blanked on the Rockies.
Wow. All right, well, I got Rocky 4. I mean, some people might go original Rocky. Rocky 4 is the best one, in my opinion.
Honestly, though, like Rocky should have definitely been in my honorable mentions, but looking at my list, I don't see anything I would bump out to put a Rocky movie in.
All right, lay your number 7.
Perfect segue. The first Avengers movie, Avengers 1. Just like we were just talking about, the build-up to the first Avengers movie, laying out all that groundwork, and like I remember when the first time we saw the crossover in one of my honorable mentions, the Incredible Hulk movie, before the post-credit scenes were even a well-known thing, dude. Like we stayed after the credits, and Robert Downey Jr. came in as Iron Man. Like it was awesome. And then fast forward all those years later when the first time we ever saw this massive crossover.
Yeah.
And the movie delivered, dude. Going in with huge expectations, and it delivers. Like you can't like that's once in a lifetime, man. That's
don't get much better than that ends at the end, man, when they're standing in a hurdle and Mark Ruffalo comes rolling in on the little dirt bike.
Yeah. The little moped.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it gives you chills. I love movies like that.
Even still, like Hulk's my favorite superhero, so to have him kind of be like the steal of the show there at the end just makes it even the more enjoyable for me.
Yeah. All right, number 6.
Fast 5. So, you knew I had to have The Rock somewhere on this list.
Yeah.
But that was The Rock's first time into the Fast and Furious, first one in there. And all the movies I've seen, even with the Avengers, this is ultimately why it's ahead of Avengers. I was really fighting between these two. When The Rock teams up with Dominic Toretto at the end, like I have never wanted to jump out of my seat more in my life than when he like decides to roll with them at the end. Like, dude, like I almost want to start crying. I was so excited.
I was super pumped. Like now I know why people like clap at movies and shit, because I wanted to be that person that just like got up and gave a fist pump.
Yeah, I wanted to jump out of my seat.
Yell.
I was ready to like just
like that's fanboy. And backstory, so people don't think we're total fucking nerds, is me and you, Fast and the Furious, the very first one, like that movie more than Bad Boys bonds us.
Well, I mean, that's next on my list, just so you know.
Oh, so
It's number 5 for me is in my top 5.
uh,
I'll give them the backstory.
all right. So what number was that? 6?
That was my 6, yeah.
So my number 6 is Fight Club.
Yeah.
Tyler Durden.
Also,
I mean, dude, Fight Club, the hidden messages in that movie alone are amazing.
yeah.
Like that movie.
And Tyler Durden is just an iconic character.
Yeah. There's very few iconic characters, and he's one of them.
Yeah, for sure. And like, there's still a big twist in that, and the rewatchability of that movie's high too. Like, you can watch that movie over and over.
Oh, dude, I've seen that movie so many times, and I love it every time. I
Uh,
can't even put it on in the background because I'll sit and watch it.
Yeah. So we already know my number 5, cracking into the top 5 here. The Fast and the Furious, the very first one, the one that started it all. You know, what are they on now? 8, the 8th one or something, 8 or 9, getting ready to come out.
9, actually.
Um, lucky number 7, actually. No, but yeah. So the Fast and the Furious, the very first one, man, that movie came out. Like my brother said, that one really started our bond because that movie came out like very shortly after you got your driver's license, right?
Yeah,
And
that's close.
it was almost, yeah, it was very close after you got your driver's license. And it was the very first movie that you ever actually drove us to take me to go see. And it was just the two of us. And we went and saw it. And I remember, you know, kids don't do this. But I remember on the way home from that movie in your 1986 Oldsmobile Rust bucket, like thinking that we're Dominic Toretto freaking cruising down M15, you know, like coming back from MJR.
Floored it.
But no, that movie, yeah, love that movie. And then to take it even a step further, when that movie came out on DVD, we bought it the first day it came out, and I had a piece of paper downstairs in our basement where I kept a tally. We watched it 14 days in a row. Every day after school, immediately down in the basement, plugged it in the DVD player, surround sound. We watched
I couldn't get a girlfriend.
We watched it 14 days in a row. Like, we know that movie so well to the point where, yeah, we can recite every line and stuff, but we'll start singing the song of the soundtrack that comes on like before the scene breaks. Like, the movie is ingrained in the back of our brain.
Yeah, that movie's amazing.
Shout out to Paul Walker. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Devastating news for us when we heard that.
It was like
we were in the basement when we heard that news.
Like losing a piece of the family, man.
My number, that was your 5, right?
Yep, cracking top 5.
My number 5 is 300.
Ooh.
300. I mean, it's nothing like that's ever been done. Like, it's just a total different film. I mean, dude, you got a bunch of jack dudes, Spartans kicking ass. Like, I mean, it's the total dude film. Gerard Butler was phenomenal as Leonidas. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And it's one of those, like, again, it's one of those movies. I've probably seen that movie like 15 to 20 times, and I'll watch it every single time it's on.
Yeah, you can watch that movie over and over again.
And I'm losing daylight. I got to turn my light on.
All right, so I'll go number 4 for me. And I know I have a feeling, well, I already know, but we're probably going to be duplicating quite a bit here now. Number 4 for me is The Departed. You better not have forgotten that movie. You forgot The Departed? Did you?
Oh, no, it's on my list. It's on my honorable mention. It's on my honorable mention.
I guess you didn't forget it, but
I didn't forget it. No. Which one did I? Nah, I mean, there's not one I can bump. Maybe Lion King, but I love that movie.
The Departed. I mean, that movie is just a star-studded cast. Once again, we got DiCaprio in that bad boy, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, Jack Nicholson. Like, it's awesome movie. Super original storyline. Like,
Definitely Mark Wahlberg fanboy here.
Yeah, Scorsese directing. I mean, you can't go wrong. That movie, it's got It's got drama. It's got action. It's actually, funny in a lot of parts. Like, it's got everything. It's super entertaining. Very good story. Phenomenal acting. It's got it all, man. Like, that's like, we're getting the top 5. So
That's yeah, that should be in my top 10 for sure.
that is a must watch. That movie is a must watch.
Yeah, I messed that one up. Number 4 for me was Fast 5. We already covered Fast 5.
Yeah.
And I don't have Fast and Furious on my list because I didn't want to duplicate same genres, like same franchise. But I just had to pick, and obviously The Rock won out in that one. So
yeah, I just I had them both in there because they were for completely different reasons. Like,
yeah.
But and honestly, if you look at what that movie started off with as the first one and what they've turned into, it pretty much is a completely different movie. Like, there will never ever be a movie franchise that evolves more than the Fast and Furious franchise has evolved. We went from straight up hoodlum street racers to dudes teaming up with special agents to save the world. Like, talk about a growth. So
and not far-fetched at all either.
No, not
like Too Fast, Too Furious. You got Ludacris, who owns a garage, and come fast forward, Fast Furious 8. He's like a tech whiz hacking into like mainframes on like the biggest scale possible.
Hacking into the NSA and stuff.
Yeah, like okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Right? We're on 3, right?
Yes.
This is where I got Dark Knight Rises. And we already covered it. And it's a good movie, but Bane. And I'm a huge Tom Hardy. Like, Tom Hardy's one of my favorite actors.
Hey, segueing right into my number 3.
Get out of town. Oh, wait, I think I know. Yeah, okay.
What do you think I was going to put in there?
I thought you were going to go Venom because you're a Venom fan.
No, Warrior, man. Warrior. Warrior is not, that's a sneaky one. Not a lot of people have seen that movie. My number 3 is Warrior. And obviously it's about 2 brothers, and that obviously speaks to us big time. But it's a phenomenal movie. Like, it's like, you can't read the description of that movie because it completely, like, if you read the description of the movie, it's going to talk about 2 brothers that are cage fighters fighting in a tournament. Like, oh my gosh, the story is so much deeper than that. It's not even funny. Like,
it's deeper. It's extremely well told. Like, throughout the movie, the backstories to some of the other stuff, like the dad, and like, it's one of those movies where, like, for me, I can watch that movie over and over, but when I watch it, I'm always in a better mood after I watch it.
It's a phenomenal movie, man. It's
it's my go-to pick-me-up movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to say a ton about it because, I don't want to ruin anything because it is such a good movie. But, like, if you haven't seen that movie, you got to watch that movie. It's the only movie in my life where, like, I got choked up and it wasn't from a sad movie. Like, I almost started crying, but it's not from sadness. Like, it's from just emotions, like, just from being so deep into my emotions, and like I'm totally okay saying that out loud. Like, it's a phenomenal movie. So,
all right, number 2.
Oh, you had Dark Knight. That was your 3. So I'll just say my last 2 because they've already come up.
Oh, all right.
So number 2, I had 300.
Oh shit.
And number 1, I had Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is your number 1.
Man of Steel is my number 1. So I literally just wrote this down. I left 2 and 1 blank with these 2 there, not knowing where to put each one. But I ended up going Man of Steel number 1 just because that movie is what really, like, shifted my mindset when it came to training. Like, 300 introduced me to Jim Jones. And for those of you that don't know, Jim Jones is a training facility in Salt Lake City, Utah. They trained all the Spartans for 300, trained Gerard Butler, and then they also ended up coming and training Henry Cavill for Man of Steel and all that stuff.
Mark Twight trains Jason Momoa.
Yeah. So 300 introduced me to Jim Jones, and then got me involved with them and following them. And I had the pleasure of going out there twice to train and learn with them for an entire 3-4 days at a time. Shout out to Mark Twight and Bobby Maximus, even though Bobby Maximus is no longer with them.
Quite.
Huge impact on me professionally as a trainer and as a coach, but also personally, just as far as my own training goes. So 300 introduced me to them, really, opened my eyes to just the possibilities when it comes to training. And then Man of Steel completely shifted my mindset from being the guy who just wants to be super shredded and lean and small to the guy, I want to be big, I want to be strong, I want to be jacked, and just like the mental strength that comes with all that. So, just the carryover that it had and the impact it had, that's why it's number one. And 300, not a long movie, super rewatchable. I could watch that movie 1,000 times. That movie's freaking awesome. It's just
a lot.
The way it's shot, just everything, dude. And then Man of Steel, I mean, that movie's it's just awesome. I love that.
It's another one of my feel-good movies, Man of Steel. When I'm feeling like shit, like I'll watch that movie and it picks me up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's Superman.
So yeah, that's my top three: Warrior, 300, and then Man of Steel.
So my top two. Number two, I got Avengers: Infinity War. Is my number two. That's for a couple reasons. One, it's my favorite Captain America. Captain America is my favorite, and the bearded, grungy Captain America, dude, that's a badass Captain America. And Thanos, like you get the first really deep look at Thanos, and he is a bad sumbitch. And the Thor scene, when Thor gets Stormbreaker and comes through, I mean, it's one of those scenes where on par with the very first Avengers at the end, like it's just one of those scenes where you're just like, makes you want to jump out of your chair.
Oh yeah.
It's a phenomenal scene.
Thor is a bad mofo.
Yeah. Shout out to Hemsworth, another actor that got his shit together. And
exactly. You want to talk about actor embracing a role? There you go.
And then my number one's Warrior. So we already said it. My number one was Warrior with Tom Hardy. And what's the other? Is it Joel Edgerton?
Yeah, that sounds right. Not a big actor, not a ton of things.
Yeah, Nick Nolte is in it.
Great.
So yeah, again, Warrior. Just, I mean, I can. It's weird because it's not a movie that you think you'd be able to rewatch, but I can rewatch that movie over and over.
Yeah. Shout out to that in Warrior too. Yeah, Nick Nolte, Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy's traps. They killed it in that movie.
Tom Hardy had some like.
Dude, no joke though. Like when that movie wasn't like big publicized or anything like that. Like the thing that caught my attention when it came to that movie was the size of his traps in the trailer. I was like, dude, why are his traps so big? Like that's what caught my attention.
For people that don't know, Tom Hardy's like 5'8". He's not a big dude. He naturally walks around at like 150 pounds, he says. Yeah. He's small.
But he got into phenomenal shape for that movie, and he killed it, man. That movie is just awesome.
He's a top 5 actor for me for sure.
Yeah. Sure. No, I like Hardy. Legend, man. You saw Legend. He killed it in that, right?
Yeah, Legend was badass.
I'm not talking about a tough acting job, like playing twin brothers that are totally different like that. He crushed it, dude. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's super talented.
Well, there you go. There's
our top 10. Yeah. You know what? I passed over this on because I listed so many. My honorable mention. You know what I had else? You know what other movie I had on there that is probably going to shock people?
What?
Crazy Stupid Love.
Dude, I've seen that movie probably 18 times since lockdown started. It's I love that movie. It's the only movie that HBO plays right now. Like, I swear to God.
It's one of those movies I can just rewatch. I don't know.
Dude, but do you have HBO?
Yeah.
The Nice Guys is on demand.
Oh, I saw that actually last night.
Oh, did you watch it?
I haven't watched it, but
Oh, you saw it on there.
Yeah, I saw it on there.
Okay, yeah.
I thought
Shout
we
out.
would watch that.
Severely, yeah. That's why I haven't watched it yet because I know we said we wanted to watch it together. Severely underrated, funny movie right there, The Nice Guys. But yeah, there we go. That's the top 10. I think this has probably gone on for like over an hour, so we should
Hey,
probably.
I mean, I had a shit ton of fun on this one. I mean, if you guys actually watch this, this is like time you'll never get back and delivers zero value to you. But
Hey, if you're looking for some movies to watch while we're all locked up at home, it's definitely
that's true. If you have a sibling, if you're close with your brother and you haven't seen Warrior, that will probably be your favorite movie of all time, or at least be up there.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I mean, mom and dad watched it. Mom loved it, and our mom is probably the last person you would know like liking a cage MMA fighting movie. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like
It's not a violent person.
it's a story.
Shit on me as a kid.
It's a story told with like an MMA cage fighting is like the outfit it's wearing. Like it's don't go by the description. You have to watch it. So
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, all right, guys. That was our top 10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys will take some of these recommendations and they'll pan out for you.
And let us know which ones we missed. I mean, if there's something we missed, man, drop it in the comments. Tell us where we screwed up.
I know that there will be some we missed. So maybe we'll open the next episode. Maybe if we think of some that we deserve to maybe.
Or we do another. We do another. No, I can't do another top 10.
Yeah, you can't do another top 10. You know, one that I almost threw on there just to I swear to God, this is never gonna end. But Shaun of the Dead, I almost threw it on there, dude. You want to talk about rewatchability? I could watch that. That movie gets funnier every time I see it.
I could say the same thing. Tropic Thunder.
I have never quoted a movie more than I quote Shaun of the Dead. Like that movie's phenomenal. But
yeah, a lot.
But yeah, okay. So that's it. We're gonna really end it. Top 10 movies. There it is, guys. If you haven't seen any of these, watch them. Let us know what you think. Let us know the ones we missed or what your top 10 would be. And we'll give those a look, and maybe we'll go over some of them on the next one.
Yeah, I'm always in for a good movie. So if there's some movies you guys know, drop us a comment. I'll watch it.
Love movies, and we got nothing but time on our hands. So this is why we did this. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like us. Like the show, subscribe to the show, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, we're on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube, like the video, share it, comment, and I don't think I'm forgetting anything, right?
I think that's it. I don't know. I'm kind of buzzed up right now.
Yeah, these margaritas. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Later.